Hey everyone, Caleb with Antique Book Collective, and today I'm getting to you guys with the top 7 ways to get more feedback on your eBay store. So guys, this is not an extensive, exclusive list of all the things that you can possibly do. It's just the top 7 things, and I may or may not have some bonus ones mixed in here. So with that said though guys, I'm just going to dive right on in. Here are the 7 ways to get more feedback on your eBay store. First off, ship fast and ship well. So guys, first off, people like to get their things fast, so if at all possible, be sure to ship your things out same day or the day after. Make it as fast as you can that you get it out of your hands. People like to have it so when they get the notification, oh, your order's been shipped, they want to see, they want to click that shipping link, and they want to see that it's already at the post office or already at FedEx or UPS. They want to see that sort of thing so they can know that you didn't just print it off and you're going to have it sit there for 7 months. So try to ship fast, but in addition to that, try to ship your things well. As I mentioned before in videos, guys, I make sure that all my antique books are shipped out in cardboard boxes, first off, because people love getting their books in cardboard boxes. That way the post office people and whatnot don't just fold it in half and then fold it again and do a pile driver and murder the book. The cardboard helps provide it a little bit of safety. People like to see that, especially with the higher end antique books or just normal books in general. If you're selling a book that is new on eBay or Amazon or wherever you're doing it, people don't want to get a brand new book and have it already creased and whatnot because it was put in a padded envelope. Of course, there are plenty of people that just sort of expect padded envelopes at this point, but if you go the extra mile and do boxes, you will have at least a couple people be like, this person gave it to me in a box. It was well packed. I'm very happy. You'll get feedback for that. I get feedback for that. Something else that I do for me in my own eBay business is because I'm doing the higher end antique books, I like to wrap them individually. I know it takes a whole lot of time, but the amount of feedback that I get that people actually talk about that, it's pretty high. And I also get a lot of messages from people that, and they're like, I was not prepared for how above and beyond you went trying to make sure that this thing was perfect. I am all sorts of thrilled. So those are some things that you guys can do in your own personal business, is to ship fast and ship well. So that's reason, choice number 1, I guess. I don't know. Next one, though, guys, is good, accurate descriptions. So accurate descriptions, obviously that's important. If your descriptions are inaccurate, you're going to get negative feedback because people are going to think, oh, wow, I bought this book about Moby Dick, and when I got it, it was a DVD. I don't know what went wrong, and it was just because your description was absolute turd, which I don't think that's happened before, but it definitely could have. But if you guys have inaccurate descriptions, people are going to be sad. They're going to leave neutral or negative feedback or return your item, and no one likes getting returns because returns are just lost money at that point because you paid for shipping, and potentially you're paying for shipping to get it back, or buyer paid shipping, any sort of thing like that, or you're going to do refund, all of those sorts of things. Nothing's fun there. So that's one of the reasons for making sure your description's accurate. But the other thing, as part of this one, it's the good description side of things. Guys, if you can go out and you can make sure that your description is as good as it can be, people are going to look at your thing, and not only are they going to buy it before they see someone that has a terrible description and doesn't mention anything, not only are they going to buy from you because your description was useful, they're also going to see all the different issues with the book or whatever else you're selling right off the bat and know, this is what I'm going to get. They're going to get the thing and they're going to see, wow, the description was actually accurate. The photos were actually of the actual book, and they're going to leave good feedback for that. I've had that happen many, many, many times in my store. Just a fun little story, guys. I actually had someone who bought a set of books. So I had 2 sets of books that were identical. They were even both missing the same exact book for both sets. I thought it was the weirdest thing. And it was funny because the guy, I was like, hey, so you gave me an offer for this much for this set. I can't go that low, but if you want to buy this set for that low, I actually have an X-Library set right here, the exact same set, but it's just X-Library. And he actually was like, no, I don't want to do that because I have bought enough things with stock photos and it always comes in so terrible and I don't want that. And I was like, I don't use stock photos. These are the actual books. And he's like, yeah, I don't care. I want this particular one. I was like, well, again, I can't go that low. I can go to here. And the guy accepted at that point. But it was interesting because a lot of people, they've gotten to the point that they don't buy anything that it does not have actual photos. So if you guys can just get 1 or 2 photos, you're doing more than a lot of people. If you can take more photos than that, people are going to be a whole lot happier. So that's something that you can do for your description, is the picture side of things. But then in addition to that, just write a few things for the description of the book, guys. Literally just something as simple as books in good conditions, no loose pages, no writing, that sort of stuff. People are going to see that and be appreciative that you actually went out and looked at the book and wrote one sentence about the book. For me, I actually do about 4 sentences or so for each book, and that's for books that I'm asking $100 for potentially. Obviously, for the books that I'm asking more and more money for, I'm going to list more and more things, and for sets of books like these, I'm going to list out a little bit more as well, just because sets of books, in addition to being worth a lot more, there's also a lot more to list out. It's not just like, yeah, it's good. It's like, okay, so the first book's in rough shape, but all the rest of the books are actually pretty good. There's a lot of variance in just a set of books, even if you get them all at the same place. So that's something else to keep in mind, is making sure that you write things out, in addition to making sure that you have all the photos being as good as they can be. If you guys want to get a good camera with like good enough photo quality, you don't need to buy a $2,000 camera. You don't need to buy a $200 camera. A lot of the time, guys, just your phone camera works great. If you guys have a phone that's like from 2004, maybe it's not going to be too great, but if you guys have any phone that's, I don't know, older than like 2012 and newer, the camera quality is going to be pretty stinking good. You're going to be able to get by pretty well. Of course, if you're selling stuff that's like $5 million each, you might want to get a better camera, but you can only go so far with eBay. With eBay, I think they have a certain size file that you can do for a for a photo, and my mom, her camera, when she was doing the business with me, her camera was actually a little too big, so it would throw things off, and like eBay would be like, yeah, you can't do that one, that one's too big, that's too good of a photo. Nah. So that is a sort of hold up, but it is something that you guys can definitely keep in mind. So with that said, on to the next thing. Provide feedback first. So this is the third thing that you guys can do. When you guys provide feedback to your buyer first, they see that you're sort of an active seller to begin with. They'll see that, okay, so not only did they ship it off, they also left feedback. I'll keep that in mind for, yeah, I should leave them feedback. They will get that extra little nudge of, well, they did it for me, maybe I should do it for them. So that's another one, and that leads into the next one. So guys, that next one, it's sort of a subsect of this one right here. So let's just think of it as 3.5. It's actually time your feedback that you provide your buyers. So if you ship your thing out and you immediately leave feedback, they'll see it and they'll be like, oh, that's a little nudge. I'll remember to do that. And you're not going to remember. But if you wait until the day that the item arrives and then you leave your feedback, potentially that might be the extra nudge of the person. They get the book or whatever that you sell. They'll get it, be like, oh, this thing's awesome. And then they'll get a notification. Bob Ross Books left you a feedback. Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah, I'll be sure to leave him the feedback back. You know, I got to be sure to like do him a solid because he just did me a solid and this book's awesome. You know, that sort of thing. It's fresh in their mind. That is something that you guys can potentially do. Or you just time it whenever you want to do. You can do it a day later, 2 days later, whenever you guys want to do. You can sort of time it however you want to do. So with that said, though, on to the next one, the actual number 4. Leave an ask card. So I'm not sure exactly what you call these things, but guys, a lot of businesses, they'll leave a little business card or something like that, be like, hey, thanks for doing business with us. I hope you enjoyed this and this and this. Please be sure to leave a feedback for us. It would mean the world to us. It'd help us so much. So that is something else that you guys can do, is just put in a little business card, a little handwritten note, whatever you stinking feel like. Just put that into the box, slide it in the box. eBay back in the day, they actually made it really easy to insert a packing slip. I think it was a packing slip. I don't even remember. It's been so long. But you could put a little message on all the different packing slips, and it was really easy. They added a few buttons that you had to click since then to still do packing slips, so I haven't personally done one for a hot minute. But it is something that you guys can potentially do for your business to increase the amount of people that buy from you and then leave feedbacks. On to the next thing is over-deliver. So guys, as I mentioned before, I spend a lot of time on the shipping out of books. I like to make sure that the book arrives perfect once the buyer gets it. So because of that, I'm sort of over-delivering on the shipping side of things. But there's other things that you guys can do to over-deliver. So let's say that you have a book, it's clearly like new, or even it's still wrapped in plastic, it's brand new. Potentially you can mark it down as good. And when someone buys it and they pay for a good book price, so instead of it being $10, they're paying $5, and then they get it and they see that it's brand new, they're probably going to be like, this book was absolutely perfect. I am thrilled. The seller's awesome. I am so happy. People are going to be a little more excited when you deliver a little bit more than what they expected. Of course, you might be fibbing a little bit there, but it is something that you guys can do. And in addition to that, guys, it can be good just as a general rule. It's something that I did with my Amazon business back when I did it, and it's something I still do now. If I think a book is a little on the edge of it's like new almost. There's this one corner right here that I'm a little. Let's just say it's good. Let's just say it's very good. Let's just say it's acceptable potentially. Like, let's just always make sure that I err on the side of caution. And when someone gets it and they get it and it's awesome except for one tiny thing, they'll be like, wow, I made out, this thing's awesome, that sort of thing. If you guys always over deliver, people will be happy. Something else I've mentioned in other videos, guys, is I actually will, in some sets of books, if someone buys enough books, all that sort of stuff, I'll actually be like, hey, so I actually have this other book here that is related to what you're doing, would you like it included for free? Like, nothing off my back, would you enjoy this book? And a lot of times, guys, people love getting their extra books if it's actually related to your thing. I've mentioned I've sold some mass market paperbacks. There's times, guys, that I sell a lot of 10 mass market paperbacks and I'll throw in 2 more. The person gets it and they're like, wow, I got 2 free books, this guy can't count. Usually, guys, I'll message them and be like, hey, I threw in a couple extra books, that way they don't think that I can't count. But it is something you guys can potentially do, is throw in a few extras or go the extra mile or understate how good your book is. So that's something else that you guys can do. On to the next one is message them. So I already mentioned, guys, that I messaged all these different buyers with all these different things. But once the book gets to your buyer, you can message them and be like, hey, I hope you loved your book, and this is sort of like the whole leaving the ask card sort of thing, but more direct. You can be like, hey, I hope you enjoyed your book. Let me know if anything's wrong, and please be sure to leave feedback. Here's the link, or whatever. All these sorts of things that you guys can do. It's a more direct way, besides just the ask card that someone's going to ignore. It's a message that they are going to feel at least sort of obliged to respond to. So that's something else that you guys can do. And to make sure that your buyer actually opens the message where you ask them what's up, you can maybe put in a little coupon code, be like, hey, I hope everything's good. If it is, let me know. Please leave feedback, that sort of thing. And thank you for opening this up. Here's a 10% off coupon. That's something else that you guys can do. It's something that I've yet to do, but it's something that I've considered doing a few times in the past. So that's something else that you can do. Finally, number 7, guys, I'm gonna say it, and I'm gonna say right now, this is a bit of a no duh, but it's also something that a lot of people overlook, and that's sell more books. If you sell more books, you're going to get more feedback, obviously. But let me just sort of rewind a little bit here too. And it's not just about selling new books and selling more books and that sort of stuff. It's about listing consistently. Guys, a lot of people have mentioned this that sell on eBay. You got to list consistently, because otherwise eBay's algorithm, they'll be like, you haven't listed for 5 minutes. Are you even active anymore? I'm not even going to give anyone any of your listings. You're not worth it anymore. You're inactive. And then you have other people that haven't listed for like 5 months, and eBay's like, he's dead. I'm getting the death certificate signed right now. That guy's dead. And then you'll list again, and eBay's like, he's alive. I'm gonna show off his books. And then you stop listing again, and eBay's like, he's dead again. It's nuts, guys. If you guys aren't listing consistently, eBay won't show your books off consistently. And if your books aren't shown off consistently, you're not going to get as many sales. So that's something that you guys can sort of play with, is at least list a couple books a day, at least for, let's say, 2 weeks if you can. List 1 or 2 books a day, and eBay will reward you with some more traffic. More traffic means more sales means more people that might leave you feedback. So that's sort of a recurring loop that you guys can sort of get your foot in the door on, and you can sort of play it with. And if you guys really want to get a lot of feedback for your business, that's something that you can do, and it's something that you need to do, especially if you're brand new. If you're brand new and you have 5 listings and no feedback, odds are no one's going to think you're a real business. However, if you have 100 things listed and you have some actual sales coming in, you're going to get feedback eventually. People are going to see that. They're going to see that you're growing. They're going to see that you're growing fast because you have 100 listings. So that's something else that you guys can do. And here's a little caveat on the side of that. I know that selling more books and getting more books to list might sound a little threatening if you're brand spanking new. So guys, if you are brand new, just know, Friends of the Library book sales, they happen all the stinking time, and you can get books, guys, for like 10 cents a pot. Sometimes they sell grocery bag size, grocery bags, and you can put as many books as you can for like $1, $5, that sort of thing. You can get a ton of books all in at once, and you can list them all, and you can get some really good sales. You might not make $1 million on it, but you'll get some consistent sales, and those consistent sales will get you more feedback. I actually have some videos, guys, on my channel about Friends of the Library book sales. I'll probably link to one at the end on that side of things, so be sure to keep an eye out for that. But Friends of the Library book sales can be a great way to get more books into your store, to get you some more sales, to get you more feedback. So that's another thing that you can do. Now, with all that said, that's your 7 things, and I know I promised potentially some bonuses. So I sort of already dropped those bonuses if you guys have been watching, but there's a lot of things that you guys can also do to sort of push people over the edge besides the, oh, here's an extra thing here, here's a well-packed book, here's a this. There's some other things too that you guys can sort of just think through on your own. It's like, okay, what would I like as a buyer to get? Potentially that thing is a coupon code every now and then. Potentially you could ask people to follow your store and have that be your big push, and then you send out a coupon code and have the coupon code be thanks for feedback, something like that, or feedback me or something like that. I don't know. You can do some sort of tacky things as well sometimes. It's there's the number of options you have is basically limitless. It's really nice. That's one of the things I love about the eBay platform is you are allowed to do a lot more stuff with the buyer than you are on Amazon. Amazon, it's a bit like, yeah, I know that you sold something to this guy, but we're not going to let you talk to him ever again. And it's like, but I need to. And sometimes Amazon's a little cagey with that. Other times Amazon lets any seller under the sun send out messages. I think it's a little weird. We'll see what happens there. None of my concern, honestly. I don't care. I'm out. I'm done with Amazon for now. Cough, cough. Part of me is thinking about coming back, guys. I'm sorry. Scanning is fun. It's fast. It's effective. It's cool. But the issue is all those Amazon fees, so that's why I haven't personally made the leap just yet. But with that said, though, guys, there are a lot of other things. And let me just check one of my sticky notes really quick just to make sure that I have everything I want to for the bonuses. Yeah, I just remembered one of the bonuses because of this. So, guys, remember how I said that you can reach out to the buyers and ask them to send you feedback? Don't overdo it. Please don't overdo it, guys. If you pester a buyer 5,500 times asking for feedback, they're probably going to leave you a negative feedback and be like, you're annoying as everything, leave me alone, stop messaging me, this is harassment, I'm going to taser you in the nose. That's something that can happen. They might not go as far as actually tasering you in the nose, but you don't want to overdo all the different messaging. You want to keep things as concise and as non-bothering as possible. In addition to that, again, I just need to look at this, being nice. I know this is a really simple one, but it is something that can go a long way. If you are just, when someone messages you, if you're responding with like 2-word sentences or 2-word responses, we all know those people that send us those texts, and sometimes you get a text that short and you're like, are they not talking to me? Are they mad? Did I leave the toilet seat up again? Oh no, my wife's gonna kill me, that sort of stuff, you know. You want to be a little more friendly. Like, obviously don't overdo it. Don't be like, can I come to your kid's birthday party? That might be a little overdoing it, but you guys want to make sure that you're as kind and as like forthcoming and as really honestly just like willing to help as possible. People will see that. People will be happy with that, and people will leave you feedback, and they'll leave you really good feedback sometimes. So that's something else that you guys can do is just be nice. Next up we have, just checking this. Okay, yep, that's it for all of my actual feedbacks. But next up, guys, we have a myth. So guys, I was doing research for this video, and it's things that I've seen poking around as well. It's a bit of a myth though, and that is sell high-end items because high-end items get more reviews and better reviews. That's a myth, guys. Just because you're selling a $10,000 item does not mean someone's going to leave you a feedback no matter stinking what. People leave feedbacks for 99-cent items all the time. People leave feedback for $20 items, $100 items, $1,000 items. People leave feedback all over the board. I've mentioned before in other videos, guys, that I have sold mass market paperbacks. I've sold all these different things that are very low-end things that I did just to try to get some more sales into my store, just for the sake of making sure that eBay knows that my store is still around and I'm not dead. As I mentioned earlier, eBay seems to think people die a lot. I like to get those lower-end things, and guys, I've gotten so many feedbacks from people that do those low-end things. In fact, I think I have had more people on these low-end things leave feedback than some of the higher ticket items. Of course, I did another video, guys, on why I don't like selling items under $15, and one of those things was those people don't leave feedback as often, but guys, they do leave feedback. I have had a lot of books. I've had multi-$1,000 books and multi-$1,000 shipments go out, and people didn't leave feedback, whereas I sell something for $5, $10, something like that, and people leave feedback. People are all over the board. Just because someone has a little bit more money doesn't mean they're going to think of someone else and be like, you know what, that little peasant right there that I bought that $1,000 book from, they need a review. People aren't going to think that necessarily. Like, yeah, you're going to have the people that buy the higher ticket items and do it, but you're also going to have the lower ticket items that sell that people are going to leave you feedback for. In fact, I've mentioned this before in a couple other videos, guys. I bought a whole bunch of little DVDs just for the sake of selling on eBay, just to get a few more sales in my store. Hint, hint, I'm actually losing some money on them, but I'm doing it for the sake of actually getting some more business in my store. And also, guys, I bought a lot of padded envelopes a while back. I showed you guys that in my rant on padded envelopes a little while ago. But I bought a few of those, and I realized that I absolutely hate padded envelopes for shipping books out. So I was like, okay, eventually I'm going to find something to ship them out with. I'm going to use those padded envelopes eventually, but I marked them down as basically a loss for myself. I'm like, yep, I don't care about how much these are worth. I just need to get rid of them at this point. So guys, I actually, when I sold my Morgan Silver Dollar, I actually wrapped that thing in the padded envelope, and then I put it in a box just to make sure that the coin made it to the guy perfectly. But in addition to that, what else can I put in a padded envelope? DVDs. So guys, I'm actually putting my DVDs in these things, and I'm using the DVDs, which are already losing a little bit of money, to get rid of those stupid padded envelopes, so I'm not wasting all my time storing the stupid things that I'm never going to use. So that's something else I'm sort of doing with my business. And believe it or not, as I'm sending out these DVDs at a loss, these things, guys, like 99 cents plus shipping, and it sells for a total, once they pay for shipping, less than $5. And again, I'm losing money on these things. I've had several of those people actually leave feedback. I've had several of these people leave really good feedback. I've had several of them actually take time on their feedback. And I'm not even wrapping these books. I'm not even, these DVDs. I'm not doing anything fancy with them whatso stinking ever. But I'm getting good feedback on these different things because my pricing's very good. I'm pricing these things to sell, and people are very happy with that sort of thing. So that is something that you guys can sort of play with. You can think, oh, I'm only going to do high-end items because they're the only ones that leave feedback. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how much of what you sell. It doesn't matter if you're selling $2,000 items. It's more how much you sell. Not how much it costs, but how much you are turning over in items. So for me, again, I'm selling these lower ticket items in order to get more feedback for my store, because a 99-cent item has the same amount of eBay waiting for feedback as a $5 million item. And if you have a store that's all $5 million items and one 99-cent one, and someone leaves a negative feedback for the 99-cent one, everyone's going to think at your $5,000 ones or whatever, they're going to think that those are all a scam too, because your 99-cent one the person said was a scam. That's something that you guys have to play with. You guys sort of have to play with your odds. So with that said and done though, guys, I hope that my 7 things that you guys can do to increase the feedback on your store were helpful. I'm just going to go through them really quick again. These are just the main 7, not the bonuses, so you'll have to rewatch the video for all the bonuses, but here are the 7. First, ship fast and ship well. Second, good, accurate descriptions and photos. Third, provide feedback first. Fourth, leave an ask card or something along those lines. Fifth, over deliver. Sixth, message the buyer. And 7th is sell more. Obviously, that's, again, a no-duh sort of thing. But once again, though, guys, I hope this video was helpful. If it was, please be sure to check out one of my other ones. This is actually the second video to a little series that I sort of just started on my own, which is what % of eBay buyers actually leave feedback. So, I don't know, it'll be on the top or the bottom. But be sure to check those out, and I'll see you guys in the next one.